At the European Parliament in Strasbourg, a moment of silence to remember those who died in recent terror attacks in Spain and Finland, on the anniversary of the 9/11 attacks in the United States, amid calls for closer EU-wide cooperation to fight terrorism. Parliament President Antonio Tajani.
A nome di tutti noi, condanno con la più assoluta fermezza questi atti di inumana violenza. Ciascuno di essi rafforza la nostra determinazione a combattere uniti contro il terrorismo e consolida la nostra unità e fortifica la nostra ostinata speranza in un mondo migliore.
Hello and welcome to our roundup of the European Parliament's latest plenary session here in Strasbourg. Terrorism was also on the agenda during debate on Europe's State of the Union. There was also debate on food safety in the wake of a tainted egg scandal. And there were fresh calls to turn up the pressure against anti-democratic governments in Turkey and in Venezuela. We begin with a State of the Union and the work that remains to be done before the next European Parliament elections in 2019. European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker laid out plans for his team's final full year in office. Contrasting with a Europe battered and bruised last year, he noted Europe is bouncing back in jobs and growth.
We have now a window of opportunity, but it will not stay open forever. Let us make the most of the momentum, catch the wind in our sails. We have still 16 months in which real progress can be made by Parliament, Council and Commission.
Among Juncker's proposals, new measures to promote industry, cut transport emissions, stop illegal immigration, fight terrorism and strengthen a common defense. He urged that Romania and Bulgaria be allowed to join the Schengen zone of open internal borders. And he proposed a single presidency for the European Council and Commission.
Mettons les voiles et profitons des vents favorables. Je vous remercie de votre attention.
Backing Juncker's speech, EPP Group Chairman Manfred Weber says it's time to create a truly common policy on migration, defense, and anti-terrorism efforts.
Especially to strengthen our external affairs capacity and our defense union of this European Union. We have to deliver in the interests of the people, and we have to fight for the European way of life.
Next, we turn to debate on the aftermath of the summertime food scandal. Millions of eggs tainted with the pesticide Fipronil. How did it grow to such proportions? MEPs want answers and action. The scandal involved pesticide mixed in the feed for hens and used mainly in Holland. Suspects have been arrested, but the damage is done. Millions of eggs were taken off the market across the European Union. Parliament debated how to improve the EU rapid alert system for food and livestock feed. Ivo Bellet is the EPP Group's spokesman on the issue.
It's the fault of a lack of bridging possibilities between national information networks and European information networks. When we could install and repair that system, then we would really have a rapid European exchange information system in the near future. And I hope the European Commission will come with proposals in the near future and implement it as soon as possible.
We turn to tensions with Turkey over reforms that shift power to an increasingly authoritarian president, and whether to halt EU accession talks because of that. International pressure has so far failed to stop the government of President Recep Erdogan from proceeding with what's seen as a power grab. Measures approved in a contested referendum are to shift more power to the presidency. Meanwhile, tens of thousands have been arrested and/or fired in the wake of a failed coup, including journalists and human rights activists. Renate Sommer is the EPP Group's spokeswoman on Turkey. She reiterated the call to halt EU accession talks, but hopes contacts continue.
What we wanted here as European Parliament is to modernize the customs union with Turkey, but at the moment that is impossible too, because there is no rule of law anymore in Turkey, and of course the human rights question is very important for us too.
Finally, debate on Venezuela, where the international community has turned up the pressure on President Nicolas Maduro's government to back down on its crackdown. So far, Maduro remains defiant. More than 100 people have died in 4 months of protests. Maduro sidelined the opposition-controlled Congress with a pro-government constituent assembly to rewrite the Constitution. The EPP Group's Luis de Grandes Pascual says the situation is at a tipping point in the oil-rich country.
Está muriendo mucha gente, unos a balazos, otros como consecuencia del hambre y la indigencia. Hay que pasar a la acción e imponer medidas que, sin perjudicar más aún al pueblo venezolano, congelen bienes e impidan el acceso al territorio de la Unión Europea a todos los implicados en las graves violaciones de los derechos humanos en Venezuela.
That's all for now from this Tazbul session. Find out more about the activities of the largest political force in Parliament by checking eppgroup.eu. Thanks for watching.